It's time for the compound women's gold medal match. Well, first up for compounds women gold, it will be Amanda Mlinaric of Croatia against Elisa Bazzichetto of Italy.
Number 2 from Italy, Elisa Bazzichetto. The judge in this match is Maya Shalali. And on target number 2, Elisa will start the match.
So it'll be the Italians starting. Chris, quick one. Either of these two favourites, number 1 and 2 seeds coming through the ranking round?
Absolutely. Amanda Mlinaric was the only compound woman to break 700 on the ranking round. 704, I think, off the top of my head. Second seed, obviously Elisa, but she was a long way behind Amanda Mlinaric. Interestingly, most archers choose to shoot first, the higher seeds. Amanda Mlinaric letting her opponent start us off in this first end.
Eight, Elisa. Nine, lineup 10, Amanda.
Well, they've got their sighters in. First arrow of this coverage.
10, Elisa. 10, Amanda.
Amanda Mlinaric, very impressive young archer, just 19 years old, but looks very confident and gaining confidence in the finals arena.
9, Elisa. 9, Amanda.
Well, solid start from Mlinaric, a 28. Our captions say a 25, but Chris, I've got Bazzichetto marked down as a 27.
Yeah, I believe so. She got closer and closer to the middle over that time. Might be a 27, might be a 26. Still trailing after this first end.
Impressive start from the Croatian, though.
And we are waiting for that one.
She's shooting well over the last couple of years. You see the judge taking a good look at that arrow on the top left on Elisa Bazzichetto's target. Amanda Mlinaric, she's a couple of years ago we were in Antalya and she seeded top in the compound women's event, and that's the first we'd really heard of her. Ever since then, she's kind of been there or thereabouts, really, waiting for that big breakout event from her. She won the World Cup station, the World Ranking event in Porridge, home World Ranking event in March, I think it was. But just waiting for that big result. All of these events are on that path towards that big result, I think.
Yeah, well, they're waiting in anticipation for confirmation. Clearly, that second arrow, a difficult one to measure.
It's been confirmed as a 27 on target number 2, so two-point deficit for the Italian after the first 3 arrows.
Well, let's get on with end number 2. Bazzichetto on the line. Cumulative score, trailing by 2 points.
9, Elisa.
Bit of a longer hold for Mlinaric, but all square, so still mini advantage for the Croatian.
10, Elisa. 10, Amanda. 9, Elisa.
two going right at the start of that end for Bazzichetto. And they match each other through the second end. So that 2-point lead sticks with Mlinaric. Chris, anything in particular about those first two arrows from Bazzichetto, the first two to go to the right of that target?
No, there's no wind that we can see on the screen. All still in the background. The trees not blustering. I think it's easy to forget 50 meters away to go a little bit right into the 9 is not difficult. You have to be really on top of it to hit 10s all the time. So she needs to settle down. Needs to shoot her level and to try and come back into this one. And the Mlinaric, I actually expected her to start a bit faster than that. She's dropped 3 points through the first 6 arrows. She's got the potential to do better. I think she'll want to tighten things up going into the kind of stretch of this final.
Yeah, well, it's been a long wait to get back onto the competition circuit. I'm guessing that the archers are still getting used to being so close to their opponents, having had so many remote tournaments over the past 15 months. It's time to get back to the live action here and end number 3. So the young Italian, still trailing by 2 points, will shoot first in this end.
Nine, Elisa.
And now just eking out another point lead. That's best arrow so far from Amanda Mlinaric.
10, Elisa. Amanda.
It's an impressive looking target, isn't it? Just watch when Elisa comes to full draw. She takes her thumb off her trigger. She's shooting a back tension style release, and it wasn't too quick on that one. But you could see she's executing very fast.
She's finished with a 27, so a big opportunity here for Mlinaric. And it's the full house for her. 30 points, taking her to 87 overall. Playing 82, and now that 5-point gap looking rather difficult. Just 6 arrows left for each of these archers. Chris, what would you think is going to be going through Elisa Bazzichetto's mind here? She was sort of staying level in that second end, and in the third end, Mlinaric pulls out a perfect.
Well, it's all on Mlinaric, really. We talked about wanting her to tighten up. She could perform better than those 9 she dropped in the early end. Excellent first 2 arrows in that third, both X's, 3 10s. If you're not perfect, you lose points against that. And what I was saying about Elisa and her executing, she's shooting a hinge style back tension release, and she's coming off very fast. You could see that third arrow, she came off a bit slower and it dropped lower. The reaction on her face, it probably wasn't in the middle when she went. Very difficult to control a hinge style release in a finals arena.
Well, let's see if she's had a chance to regroup, because it's time for end number 4. Important first arrow here for Bazzichetto. And that is a good arrow, but Mlinaric is looking very strong now and only growing in confidence.
9, Amanda. 9, Elisa.
Big contrast between these two archers. A lot of movement from Elisa when she shoots. Very little movement from Amanda Mlinaric. Really, really solid form, solid base.
10, Amanda. 10, Elisa. 28.
Well, already only up by 1 in this end. Mlinaric with a 10 could gain another couple of points here.
10, Amanda.
And it is a 10. Brilliant performance, as Chris was alluding to, coming out of Mlinaric right now, leading by 6 points overall.
Unofficially is Amanda.
That's an insurmountable lead over the last 3 arrows, really. Mlinaric got this one sewn up early. That's not what's on her mind right now. She wants to put in a good performance in this finals arena and close strong, because there's potential in the future from this 19-year-old, this young archer from Croatia.
Yeah, certainly, she is looking very strong. You mentioned a solid foundation. Clearly, that's a key thing.
Absolutely. You're aiming something very, very small a long way away. Not only are you aiming at something very small with something very small, you're aiming at it through a magnified sight. And any kind of shake when you're aiming, any kind of movement at all, makes combat archery very, very difficult. Not just to aim, to execute as well, and a solid base, a solid foundation, right from feet all the way through up the body to holding the bow. It's necessary if you want to perform at a high level. And Amanda Mlinaric really does have a really solid base to her technique.
She certainly does. It will be Elisa Bazzichetto to shoot first in the 5th and final end. So big ask here, 6-point deficit. But she's shooting first, so chance to put a little pressure on. Good start. Bit of a longer hold, but the result is pretty good. Hasn't been out of the 9s and 10s, Mlinaric. Couple of 8s for Bazzichetto.
10, Elisa. 10, Amanda. 9, Elisa.
Well, I've got a mark down as a 28. So solid finish again. But as you can see,
10, 10,
another perfect from Mlinaric. Absolutely brilliant performance from her to take the compound women's gold here at the Veronica's Cup.
Yeah, it was really a tale of two halves in that match as well. She started okay, Amanda Mlinaric, but we expected more. Delivered on the back 9 arrows, tightened that up in the 3rd, 3 perfect 10s, and finished off with another 3 perfect 10s. Fantastic performance in the finals arena from Amanda Mlinaric, and she'll really take a lot from that, I think.
Yeah, great performance. As you say, a slightly slow start. You expected a little bit more, but she certainly delivered throughout. But impressive performance from Bazzichetto as well. She shot a couple of 8s, but she's young and not quite as experienced.
Yeah, absolutely. Not experienced, and the only way to gain experience is by doing it. Coming out into this finals arena, she wasn't the favourite. She knew she was going to be a little bit behind, but she didn't embarrass herself by any stretch of the imagination. This one certainly, though, went to Amanda Mlinaric, both in terms of performance in the field and result.
Yeah, we take a look back at some of those brilliant shots. 2 30s in that round, 2 perfect scores. Really took her over the line very comfortably, but more for sure to come from Elisa Bazzichetto, the young Italian getting the experience here at the Veronica's Cup